What's up, y'all? Owen Adams, making all the mistakes so you don't have to. Today I'm talking about 10 things, count them, 10, that no musician should ever do. Don't do these things, don't think about it, just get good. One thing no musician should ever do is come to a rehearsal unprepared. I see this one a lot. It gets on my nerves every single time. I don't know why they don't have 5 minutes to learn a song or make a chart, watch a YouTube tutorial on how to play it. It's never been easier to learn music. We start the song and it's like, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, what key are we in? Oh wait, what's the tempo? You sure that's fast enough? You sure that's slow enough? Wait a minute, what key are we in again? It drives me completely up the wall. Without a doubt, the best way to solve this problem is to come up with a real easy, real simple technique for writing your own charts. So if you got a B flat minor chord, write a B and a flat line and a little M for minor. I don't know. I make my own charts and I never have to memorize anything and I never have to learn anything at the rehearsal. Second thing musicians should never do is show up late or don't show up at all without any kind of advance notice. I get it, life happens, things happen. You can't always be exactly on time to the second. That's fine. But let your band members know so they don't think that you got hit by a truck or something. Again, it's never been easier to contact someone in the band. It's disrespectful, first of all, to the other people's time. Secondly, your show is going to suffer and your audience is going to suffer. Every minute you're late is one less minute you have to rehearse and work out your transitions. If you're not going to be on time, at least let somebody know about it. The third thing no musician should ever do, don't do this. This is one of the worst things, is not taking care of your instruments. You're not keeping them in tune. You're not even owning your own instruments. You're borrowing some broken axe from somebody who has 50 guitars and they gave you the worst one because they know that you're probably not going to treat it very well. If you have a reputation for playing crappy instruments, the whole band is going to look like a bunch of amateurs, even if it's only one guy. And I've seen dudes show up to gigs with keyboards that are duct taped together and stands that are falling down with tape and screws and bolts hanging off of them. I had a stand like that once, but that was because it actually broke at the gig. If it happened before, I would have replaced it. And I did replace it by the next gig. So take care of your stuff. Get new strings. Don't boil them. Don't power wash them. Throw them in the trash. Go to Music and Arts and spend about $5–10. Your whole band will thank you for it later. Trust me. The next thing that no musician should do is be a know-it-all. Please, don't be one of these guys that can't be told no, that can't be told you don't know what you're talking about, because you probably don't in the first place. But what's even worse than that is when you don't know what you're talking about, yet you act like you know what you're talking about and you know everything and you're always right. You know what I have to say to guys like that? Show me some proof. Show me some evidence. If what you're saying is true, then you should be able to prove it. No problem. Because if I have any points to make in any of these videos, I'm backing up everything I say with facts and evidence and experimental evidence, at least anecdotal evidence. Don't be one of these guys that makes a bunch of conjecture, especially about business matters, when you don't know what you're talking about. Do some research. Cite some actual evidence. Your band will start to trust you instead of starting to resent you. The fifth thing no musician should ever do, overplay. I met Dennis Chambers on an airplane once, and this is what he said. The #1 problem that he sees with new musicians, up-and-coming guys, they're all full of fire, they're all ready to show off, they're hungry, they're ready to strut their stuff, and they go on the stage playing a bunch of crazy 16th notes and fills and gospel runs and blues licks all over top of the song when they're not even playing the music of the song. It's totally unnecessary, and it just sounds like a mess. I mean, if you want to do that, write your own song and tell everybody in the band to solo for 3 or 4 minutes, and there you go. Good luck on your #1 hit single. But if you're in like a cover band or a tribute band or a jazz group or something, you're just gonna get on stage and do a bunch of overplaying and make everybody else in the band be like, because that's exactly what they're gonna do. Learn how to hang back, leave space, let the band be its own sound. Let the different parts come together cohesively and organically. Then when it's your time to shine, overplay to your little heart's content till your fingers are bleeding, until your instrument starts melting. But if you're playing on a gig and you're a keyboard player and it's time for the sax solo, take 5, just walk away, take a smoke break, whatever you gotta do to resist the urge, the temptation to just play a million different chords over top of everything else that's going on. It's not gonna work, and you're probably gonna get fired. The next thing no musician should ever do, and this is a big one, showing up to your gig high, stoned, drunk, tripping balls, rolling. Not a smart move, especially if it's like a prestigious gig or like a big venue. The worst offenders are singers. If you're doing that and you're getting on stage to sing, be prepared for an extremely flat, extremely uninspired performance. You might be in the zone, but nobody else is going to be feeling it. Definitely don't drink before your set. After the set, do what you want. Don't shoot any heroin. Don't smoke any crack. Probably a safe bet to just avoid all the categories of drugs until after the gig is over. The next thing no musician should ever do: don't play in a band unless you're really good at listening. I see guys on the stage all the time playing, doing their own thing in their own world, and this is especially important if you're playing with like a backing track or a click track or something like that. Even when you're in the studio, not a good idea to just be tunnel visioning on your little 1, 2, 3 note bass line when there's a lot of other elements in the mix that need to be balanced. This is also important if you don't have an especially talented sound engineer, because you want to play to the room. You want to play to what you're hearing on the stage. If you're not listening, you're not hearing anything on the stage. If you're at a jazz gig and somebody's taking a solo, right, you should still be listening to whatever the soloist is doing, because you want to kind of kick off of what they're doing. You want to kind of keep that continuity there. Go listen to old Miles Davis records. His band was absolutely brilliant at doing this. They all listened to each other, and even if they weren't copying each other exactly, they were feeding off of each other. There's this like chemistry that happens. You have to be in the moment. You have to feel it. You have to be listening to what the other guys are doing. And if you're not, you're going to miss out on a lot of important stuff and a lot of great opportunities to make some really special moments on the stage. And audiences will love you for that. Next thing, don't do it. Don't leave and disappear mysteriously in between the set. This is one of the most annoying things that happens. And for some reason, it's a lot of professional guys that have all their other ducks in a row, but they have this one weakness. They just seem to get lost on the break. I don't know where they're going. I don't know if they're time traveling or if they're just taking a little pre-second set vacation. Who knows? The rest of the band shouldn't have to be calling and texting you frantically to get you back to the bandstand 5 minutes before the second set. Dude, you've already played one set. Where are you going? You're not going to get anywhere fast. Just stay near the stage. Be ready to play. Sometimes you'll get caught up to play a little earlier than usual. You got to be ready for that stuff. For as professional as you may be, guess what? You just killed it. The next big no-no for musicians when you're on the stage, don't be miserable. I know, it sounds a little bit ridiculous, right? This one happens with a lot of really professional musicians. Guys that know their craft, they know how to play, they're focusing on the music, they're focusing on getting the right fingering and technique. But guess what? You're not really putting on a good show. You're kind of just like standing up there doing math problems. That's about the same intensity and passion I see in your face when you're on this stage performing. Go to a Victor Wooten concert. He puts on a really good show, and he's not boring to watch either. Set up a little camera or an iPhone or something, record yourself playing, watch it, and I think you'll start to see what I'm talking about here, because I know that I see it in myself all the time when I look at live footage. This is music. It's supposed to be fun. Express yourself. Interact with the audience. Interact with your bandmates. Don't look miserable. Number 10, the final and perhaps the most important thing on this list by far: don't not pay your players. If you're a band leader or a musical director, or even if you're just the keyboard player that just happened to get the gig, it happens in this business. Everybody seems to be way overconfident of their skills and of their draw and of the amount of money they think they can make, and they suck at negotiating with the booking agent and the venue and the promoter. So what inevitably ends up happening is somebody gets underpaid. Or, worst case scenario, not even paid at all. Don't do it. If you gotta go to your bank account and pull out a negative fund, if you gotta go to the back of the venue and wash a couple of dishes, do whatever you got to do to keep your musicians taken care of. Keep them paid. Keep them happy. Because if you don't, and they watch this video, they're probably gonna quit the band. Especially if you're getting paid and somebody else is not. That's like the worst of the worst. And I know some guys like that in the DMV area, but I'll keep that information to myself for now. And there it is, 10 things musicians should never do, whether you're on the stage or in the studio or in your rehearsal. Don't do any of these things. Cross them off your list, check it twice, take some classes, do some yoga, do some self-reflection. Figure out where these problems are coming from. It might be due to a deep-seated traumatic incident that happened in your childhood or something. I don't know. But let me know what you guys think. Do you know any musicians who do this stuff? I know way too many of them, and I wish they would just go away. I've said it before, this business is not for everybody. If you think you can just skate by doing the bare minimum amount of work in a business like this, you will sink where others will swim. And it is not going to be a fair competition if you're doing any single one of these things on this list. But let me know what you think in the comments below. We'll keep the conversation going. I know for a fact that I don't do a single one of these things. And that's how I get the money.